hustle, play smart. AI taking your job. Don't get left in the dark. AI's taking your job. Time to build, leave a mark. The scout on the service used to need 25. That way chatbot replies and keeps the line alive. Truckers riding solo with the wheel in their hand. Autonomous control running routes through the land. Knockers double check scans, machines catch what they miss. Diggle pre-structured fast and parallel assist. It's a paradigm shift, tech revolution evolve. Every job that's routine is a problem. It's all guys taking your job. Better step or stay sharp. AI taking your job. Gotta hustle, play smart. AI taking your job. Don't get left in the dark. AI taking your job. Time to build, leave a mark. Repeat the lesson inside, don't just feel the device. Since the tool in your cipher can enhance your life. The creativity reigns, that's the human domain. Innovation with soul, machines can't explain. So train your brain daily, keep your context tight. Proposition engineering, future right. Jobs fade, the roles rise, transformation of play. Knowledge reigns supreme, it's the right. Getting your job. Better step, don't stay sharp. AI taking your job. Gotta hustle, play smart. AI taking your job. Don't get left in the dark. AI taking your job. Time to build, leave a mark.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Talk Williams, host and creator of Hip Hop 50th. I want to say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you might be listening to this. And I do apologize for that feedback. You know, this is a poor man's podcast, so I'm the sound man, the light man, the content creator, the host, all of that. Yeah. But I'm none of that, or at least a little bit less of that without you guys. I want to say good morning to everybody. Oh, can you hear me now, Eddie? Let me know if you can hear me now. Yeah, let me know, Eddie. I'm glad you jumped on here for a second, too, because I know you're busy and you got to go. But let me know if you can hear me, Eddie. Yeah, and then I'll get right to something that I do want to share with you. All right, cool, that's good. Anyway, guys, you can see in the title, how has AI changed the way we land jobs, the way we do interviews or even create the resumes. It's a strange thing. Now, it's not strange if you're not aware. If you haven't run into conversations or people or AI hasn't been pushed up in front of your face or you're not engaging with it on ChatGPT or Gemini's 3 or which is Google's or Anthropic's Claude or something like that, or Elon Musk Grok or anything like that, then you may not be thinking about it that way. The other situation might be if you're pretty secure and good with the type of work that you're doing and where your current employment is, or your business or clients that you might have as a contractor or a sole proprietor or some type of business person yourself, you're also good. But there is something coming over the horizon, and it's getting brighter as the months go on, and definitely it will have a bright light shined on it in the short years to come, in the next 3 to 5 years, most definitely. And that is how artificial intelligence is going to change the way that we not only get jobs, but the way that we apply for them, interview for them, and even choose what career paths to take. Now, there's going to be different for different generations of people. In other words, the strategy that the Gen Z is going to use, and those are the individuals born between the year of 2007 and 2012. That's that 15-year period. And today, those people are between the ages of 13 and 28 years old. So those are the Gen Zers. They're either in some type of high school, headed towards college, they're in college, or they're out of college, because at 28, you're grown as a human being. So you have that generation there, that 15-year slot, and they're facing some enormous challenges in terms of opportunities. But then you have the baby boomers like myself. I'm a baby boomer. And then you have the Gen A's or something like that. So you have all these generations, and the challenges are different. But what I'm talking about is in 15 days or less. Should I say less? Or less. Okay. 12 days or less, right? We'll be in the year 2026. What will that look like for knowledge workers? And I get it, guys. You probably saying knowledge workers, what's this, some term he made up? No. I never heard of this term knowledge worker until this year in 2025. It was the first time I had that concept. But I want to let you know how I'm preparing to seek employment or opportunities for myself in a whole nother state for not the year 2026, but for the year 2027. That's how much of a planning stage that I am in. Because I'm currently in Chicago now, but I think in the year 2027, I probably will be relocating. And so, how am I, being a baby boomer? What am I going to do to find work? I'm facing ageism, racism. I'm too short. I'm not dark enough. I don't sound that well. I got a poor man's podcast. I'm facing all types of challenges. But yeah, and the millennials, I apologize. Yep, good shout out, Mitch. I can't pronounce it, but yeah, the millennials. Yep, I apologize. But what is it? And who are these so-called knowledge workers? But before I get into the knowledge worker, I want to play this little clip. And this young lady who's a technologist herself, she talks about what the strategy might want to be, like our strategy about finding these new opportunities, what that might look like in the near future. That's what she talks about. So listen to her give. She talks about job titles will be disappearing. They're not going to be the way that they were. So check out what she says, because I think this is pretty relevant here, and I'll do my best to shut up, which sometimes that's what I'm not so good at. But here we go. Let's see.
If I had to distill the future of work into one idea, it would be in the form of a single question that only you can answer. If you couldn't rely on your job title to explain what it is that you do, and you could only share the unique skills that you offer, the outcomes that you make possible on a team or for a company, and the problems that you are uniquely equipped to solve, what would that be? In other words, if you were to describe yourself as a mini organization, what does that organization offer? That is a snapshot of the future of work, where we're moving towards a future that is less defined by job titles and these distinct roles, and towards a future where the workforce is defined by skills. When AI becomes the foundation of the workforce, it's going to continue to change what skills companies are going to need, because AI is going to learn more tricks over time. So it's going to be able to do more things, which means it's going to change the skills we have to bring to the table. It's going to change the problems companies are able to solve, the products that they're able to launch, which makes it much more challenging to hire somebody full time, because that role is going to look completely different in 12 months or in 18 months or in 2 years. So instead, we'll start to move towards companies hiring for a bundle of skills for a particular project or to achieve a particular outcome. This is a very different way to think about the workforce. It means we stop looking at ourselves like job titles and moving up that traditional career ladder. And instead, we look at ourselves as a unique bundle of skills, as a mini organization that has an offering to different projects and different companies at any one time. I call this the rise of the independent era. And it, of course, has many implications for how we think about work, how we think about Social Security, health insurance, economic security, and we're going to get to that in another episode. But today I want to talk about.
All right, so I'm going to stop it there because, like I said, this young lady, she has her own YouTube channel. She's a technologist, and she works for a company. And basically what she does, she reads and she gets into a lot of analytical information about artificial intelligence, the job market, and the trajectory of things. So she's like technologist slash data scientist slash probably a brand ambassador. She has many talents. Let me just say that. And she's very articulate, well-spoken. She delivers a powerful message in terms of strategies and methodologies where it concerns technology. Now, this idea of knowledge workers, again, all workers have knowledge, but knowledge workers are typically seen as individuals who do a job, and pretty much the way they get it done is through their hands and their mind, their thoughts, their analytics, their eyes, and through their hands. And what do I mean by through their hands? Typically the keyboard, or they're working some type of system, and it involves automation, higher levels of technology, different things like that. And these are referred to as knowledge workers. Again, I didn't hear that term till the year 2025. It was just a new term, knowledge workers. I'm like, damn, what worker don't have knowledge? Even the people who don't work got knowledge. But in context, I get what they saying. So how do we do that? Well, let me get right to something before. Did my homeboy leave already? He might be gone already. Okay. Well, if he bounced back on, I'll get into it. I want to wait for him. To get on here. Let me see. See, that's the advantage about him. I can call him and say, man, jump back on here for a minute. All that jumping on here for 30 seconds and then bouncing out. I want to deliver a message directly to him about something. But what does that look like for you? What does that look like for you if you're not in a position to do such? You know, I mean, how is that? Are you, hey, Eddie, jump back on. I want you to hear something, man. Oh, I asked you. All right, so listen to this because I'm going to be talking to you directly in a second. All right. I apologize, guys, but that was my homeboy, and he put me on to something, and I followed up. But my question was, how does that look to you? Let's say that you're 40. Let's say you're over 50. Let's say you're approaching 60 or over. Let's say that you currently work somewhere and you've already made up your mind that that's where you were going to retire from, or that was the type of work that you were going to be doing. And all of a sudden it's being displaced. All of a sudden your assignments, your duties, or you can see that the company is not investing in you no more as an employee. They're not sending you to trainings. They're not offering you additional opportunities to be part of different projects and different things like that. Or they're downsizing and taking advantage of the fact that it may not be something on your particular resume that represents as a qualifier for you to partake in something coming up. There's several reasons, there's several ways people can hide behind what the real motive is, but that's not going to change anything. And I'm not here to discuss your rights and the law and all the rest of that. I'm here to say, what can we do as individuals? Okay, I'm going to be relocating to the East Coast or to the Southeast. So I'm going to be going to New York, I'm going to be going to Baltimore, or I'm going to be going to Atlanta. I'm going to be doing that in the next 18 months. That seems like a bold move. Now, fortunately for me, I don't have small kids or anything like that. I don't have a wife, anything like that. I do date women. Let's get that clear. Okay, I'm just not married. But I'm not in a committed relationship, and hopefully I won't make any efforts to be into one before then, unless it's with someone in those areas. But here's the deal. A friend of mine that I just abruptly and rudely and unprofessionally called just now and asked him, was he still on the call? I was asking him, and I was telling him what I was looking to do. I was explaining to him that, look, man, I'm facing age, I'm facing race, I don't look that well on paper. You know, what are the opportunities there for me? And he was telling me, he says, Talk, you know what? There's this, they've been doing a lot of development in the city, and there's new opportunities and grants and other programs that speak to people who are actually older as well as the younger in terms of opportunities to learn or even opportunities to teach or get parts of grants. Now, let me show you how simple this works. It ain't simple. The concept is basic, but the work is still the work. Here's what I did. I took what he said from last week, and I went on a website. And the website that I went on, let me see if I can bring it up right here. And I'll just bring it. There's some articles about it or whatever like that. And I went to this website, and here it is right here. I'm gonna put it on this screen. Maybe you guys can see it. Let's see if it pops up. I'll look at my the monitor to see what you guys can see. But anyway, what that screen is showing right there, it's showing, and let me reset this so you guys can kind of see. I'm going to reset this. What you guys are seeing right here, it says that Baltimore City has opened up an artificial intelligence computer lab. Now, he gave me the actual street. This is crazy. And I know you like, what they got to do with your job, what they got to do with what you're doing, what they got to do with what you're talking about. Here's why. Remember what the young lady said. Things are changing now. That traditional way that you find a job, traditional way that you network, that ain't happening no more. What's happening now is we got to get a little more creative with what we do and how we do it. So, one of several ways, and this is just something I'm doing, is I'm seeking out organizations that have grants, and I'm identifying in these states, whether it be New York, whether it be Georgia, whether it be the state of Maryland. I'm seeking out. All right, let me back up a little bit because I'm getting ahead of myself. What is it that I want to do when I move, when I relocate? What am I trying to do? How am I trying to earn a living? My earnings potential, what love or work of labor am I trying to engage in? Here's what I would like to do. I would like to involve myself in either teaching in the way of mentoring, teaching, giving classes, or working with assisting others in the field of technology. That's what I would like to do. And I would love to do it for the troubled youth. And when I say youth, I don't mean the 12 and under, 18 and under. I mean that segment of youth between the ages of maybe 16 and 25 or 16 and 24, where they're coming into adulthood or they're into adulthood, get ready to reach another stage. That group right there that might not look good on paper, that group right there that has not done anything where society is just going to cast them off for the next 30 years in some penitentiary, or hopefully they don't get gunned down in the street or they don't do the same thing to somebody else. So I want to work in that arena. I want to work in the urban community, but I do have bills. I do have rent. I do have to eat. Right? I have to have some pride about myself, even though I'm going to be a minimalist. I'll take the bus, I'll take the train, I'll do whatever. So understanding what as Maslow would say, right? Maslow, that pyramid, your needs in that pyramid, those 4 levels: security and housing, protection from the environment, and then some basic needs like food and nutrition and other things. And then you can get into social, community, and belonging, all the way up to what? Being some better version of yourself, self-actualization. So I'm not going to go down there. That was just 30 seconds of me acting like I understand his motto about that. But understanding that that's what I would like to do, meaning that's my choosing. So I'm still in the position where I have a desire to do a particular thing. Well, this isn't last year. This isn't 10 years ago. This isn't 20 years ago. So the question becomes, in the face of artificial intelligence, in the face of companies moving budgets in the back of the company, they're not rehiring, they're not fulfilling or refilling positions that are being let go because they're investing in the automation, they're investing in the streamlining. They're putting their bets on everything AI in the next few years. And why wouldn't they? The Mag 7, whether it be Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, or Meta, formerly known as Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, NVIDIA, all of these major companies, Teslas, and all of them, they're all basically saying this is where the money is, this is where the bet is, and so that's what it is. Why wouldn't corporate America, why wouldn't the institutions of higher learning, as well as the job market, period, get behind that, especially if you're a knowledge worker? That's the type of work that you do. This program right here that I brought up here, this program actually is right where I want to be. And this is right where my friend told me. And what it is, they received a grant. And now they have a computer lab where they open it up for the young adults and seniors. And they have instructors. And they have the company that work with the local city, state government, NWN, they're the technology company behind it. So they can employ people. They are a business. They deal with enterprise level clients. This isn't a federal welfare social grant that's getting this off. No, this is a real business, technology business, that's giving back to the community and creating opportunities for those who want to take advantage of it. This just opened up in Baltimore City first week in September. They did the ribbon cutting. You have the mayor, you have everybody there. I've read through the website, and all of those things that my friend told me is true. Now you might say, well, damn, that don't mean you getting the job. No, I'm not speaking to the job that I'm going to get. What I'm speaking to is how things have changed, meaning my approach to the opportunity is different. It's not the typical scripted, do a resume, apply to temp agencies, see who hiring before you go out there. No, my strategy now in the light of things is find out organizations, whether it's local, state, what have you, where they already have infrastructure in place, where the grants are already there, and some part of that grant is going to be opened up to pay somebody, to pay others to come in and teach and provide some information services to the clients or the constituents or the customers that they have. So in other words, I'm looking at it from the back end, not the front end. You got to come around back and see how the basement was built out now. That knocking on the front door with your suit on, talking about I'm a nice guy, I'm a nice woman, please let me in, can you read my 3-page resume? It's done. That's done for knowledge workers. Now, I'm just talking about people who are into technology, or you dealing with situations where it's just going to be driven by automation or streamlining. You got to come with a different method. And depending on your current situation, black, elderly, poor, and all of that, popping up somewhere new, nah, it's different now. A lot of the youth now, unfortunately, jumping back to Gen Z for a minute, between the ages of 13 and 28, the new college grads coming out of college now, they're not even getting callbacks from companies. They are applying for jobs, them people not even calling them back. But they don't know anything different. They don't know how to network. They don't know how to use a different approach, a different strategy. The reason why I'm going to be in a better position to get a job is because I'm going to actually look to places that I already know that they got the budget, because that's public information with these grants. Think about it. I might sound crazy and weird to you, but think about what I'm doing. I'm going to meet with organizations in those communities I want to work in that's offering information service, computer technology, artificial intelligence learnings. I'm going to do that by first researching which organizations in that state or local government have been given the grants by the Carnegie Institution, in this case, NWN, in other cases, OpenAI, Sam Altman's OpenAIs, or Google, or any of those organizations. That's how I'm approaching it. So then when I go, as my friend told me, my homeboy told me, my brother from another mother told me, he said, "Tak, you can go right to these people, man, this, that, and that, and you can connect with the mayor's office, and this, that, and that." See, that's the approach. Now, that might not be your approach, and that's fine, but I'm replicating that approach in the city of New York because I want to do something in Harlem. I'm doing it in Atlanta because I want to do something in Atlanta, and I'm definitely doing it in Baltimore because I want to do something in Baltimore, so I'm going to use that same approach. What I'm saying to you guys is we live in a different time now. You can alter it. It's a paradigm shift. You have to do something different. You can't get in the front door with the same key today and tomorrow, and definitely not a year from now, that you could get in the front door with last year, yesterday, and a year ago. It's not going to work. The key ain't going to fit no more. They changing the locks. That's what they doing. Here's the other part. Did you hear what the young lady said? The young lady said, look, what you want to do is you want to approach it as if what? You want to approach it as if you're an organization itself. That's what she was saying. She was saying, when you go in for these jobs now, all of this stuff, Here go my resume. I've been to school, and you can't speak and can't talk, and you think you're going to sit there because you young and cute and fresh out of college with that degree? It ain't going to work, because what's going on is artificial intelligence is wiping out that entry level, that thing that we needed young adults to just come in for coding, for information processing, for accounting, for legal, for health, that just involved data, some sort of fancy data processing at the entry level. In the next 18 months to 3 years, it's not. You ever hear the hip hop artists say yesterday's price ain't today's price, or the dudes in the hood say that? It's the same way. Yesterday's entry level ain't today's entry level. Again, check out what she says. Check out how she said you might want to approach looking for a new job. Now, here's the other thing before I let it play. If you over 40, you should have learned something about now. If you over 50, you should have learned even more. If you're over 60, you ain't got no excuse but to work. But the idea here is, let your experience, the lessons, the takeaways, let that work for you. Now listen to what she says. She makes a very good point.
If I had to distill the future of work into one idea, it would be in the form of a single question that only you can answer. If you couldn't rely on your job title to explain what it is that you do, and you could only share the unique skills that you offer, the outcomes that you make possible on a team or for a company, and the problems that you are uniquely equipped to solve, what would that be? In other words, if you were to describe yourself as a mini organization, what does that organization offer? That is a snapshot of the future of work, where we're moving towards a future that is less defined by job titles and these distinct roles, and towards a future where the workforce is defined by skills. When AI becomes the foundation of the workforce, it's going to continue to change what skills companies are going to need, because AI is going to learn more tricks over time. So it's going to be able to do more things, which means it's going to change the skills we have to bring to the table. It's going to change the problems companies are able to solve, the products that they're able to launch, which makes it much more challenging to hire somebody full time, because that role is going to look completely different in 12 months or in 18 months or in 2 years. So instead, we'll start to move towards companies hiring for a bundle of skills for a particular project or to achieve a particular outcome.
Listen to what she says. A bundle of skills, a particular skill set to achieve a particular outcome. Now, I'm paraphrasing because I forgot that fast what she says. But that's the important thing. I'll be asking people, what's in your AI toolkit? Listen to what I'm saying. Hear me out. I know you think you so smart and you so cute and you just, the world just loves you. Can't nobody create a spreadsheet like you. They don't need you no more like that. Especially if you coming in new. You're going to a new company, a new organization. You're trying to get a new client. They really don't. You know why? The person that's been doing spreadsheets for the last 10 years, that's being augmented. Meaning what? That level playing is being augmented down to a person that's been using Excel for 3 years, but understand how to use Copilot. So if you want to impress the interviewer, the person that's interviewing you, if you want to impress somebody that you meeting at a sports club, because sometimes you meet people at a sports club, a sports bar, you meet them at a place you work out at, you meet them at a grocery store, you just meet them somewhere, at a meeting at the school with your other kids. You'll just meet them, and they'll have a business, or they'll have a need, or they'll have a problem that you might be able to provide a solution to. If you want to impress them, you want to get away from how smart you are. You want to represent that you're smart enough to have tools, that you're AI aware, that you're AI literate. So example, you run into somebody and they say, yeah, I keep having these issues and I got a nice assistant and he's a great guy or she's a great person and we just keep having issues about, and we use spreadsheets or Excel for XYZ. I know that's a small menial example, but I'm just keeping it basic. Instead of me saying, oh, you need somebody like me, I've been using Excel forever. I started using Excel 25 years ago. Nobody is going to hire you because you feel like telling the story about the Excel slave ship, how you was the first slave off the Excel ship, and you've been using it since Microsoft Office been out. That's over with. Here's what they want to hear. Get you closer to it. Get them excited about you. You know what? I just started using Excel about 3-4 years ago. Yep. And guess what? A couple years ago, Microsoft came out with something called Copilot. Copilot is like the AI engine. It's the artificial intelligence tool that'll help me create pivots and dashboards and help me put the formulas, and I don't have to call all these 3 different people that used to work there and the guy that quit, and he gave me his number in case I got stuck. I remember doing that on an assignment I had. You're going to excite them. They're going to be excited. They're going to want to hear more from you. That's the energy they're looking for. Because artificial intelligence and the things that it can do at the basic level, you don't need the person that's an expert no more. You need somebody that's well adapted to it, but resourceful. That's who you need now. You don't need the person that know how. You know that you need the person that can direct. You need the person that can realize when they don't know and can reach out and get additional assistance. So what's in your AI toolkit? If you think popping off saying I got ChatGPT is going to impress somebody interviewing you, it's not. You know why? Who don't have ChatGPT? Everybody got ChatGPT. That's not going to get you in. What's going to get you in is, think about it. You're applying for a company. You're looking for some particular work. It's just like this situation my friend put me on to. I'm going to these organizations. Before I even reach out to them, I'm definitely going to look at their website. I'm going to see what their program is about, how they're helping out in the community, what resources they're using. That's my research. That's my homework that I'm going to, you still got to do the work. Yeah, you still got to do the work. I'll say it again. Yeah, you still got to do the work. Because I know people want a button to push. Talk, ain't it a button? Yeah, it's a button when you call in employment. They say, if you calling because you lost your job and you want to apply for benefit, push button 3. But when that's over, there ain't no button. It's something called work. You still got to get it in. So I do my research like that. Then when I do have the conversation, I'm going to be able to say to them, I think it's great what y'all doing in the community. I see y'all got the website, boom, boom, boom. I would like to, whatever. I'm making it up for me. I know what it is for me. But that approach there is not the standard approach. That's why I was talking to my friend about it. I'm like, man, this world different. And he was like, look, Todd, here you go, right here. Boom. Try this out. Try this out. Try this out. So all I'm saying to you guys is, your great resume, that boring 10-page, I did everything, I'm the smartest, my last 5 bosses thought I was the greatest, and I can get them to say it again on the interview if y'all need to, that's over with. What's in your toolkit? Are you AI literate? When they ask you, it's something as simple as, do you use the Microsoft suite? Are you going to be able to speak to your strengths as well as additional things you use as far as tools and resources to augment your current knowledge base? Or are you going to represent yourself as the LLM, the large language model? Are you going to come off to them like AI don't know as much as me, lying? It's going to sound like they impressed. They don't want you. You're not the person they want. Because with the advent of AI, you need people to understand and be cognizant, have experience in that area, but be resourceful and aware and trained on other tools. So you have to figure out, what are those AI tools? All right, let me just name a couple of them, right? If you was looking for a job, or you're looking to do something in marketing, or you're looking to do something that requires content creation. What's content creation? Where you're going to be creating images. You might be doing some video. Not you're going to be the producer, the director, shooting music videos. No, but they might have video clips for the company. They might want you to edit. They might have some type of social media management role that you want to play. They might have some other role where it's just audio and different things like that. Those are tools we got access to right here on the internet. You can get access and play around with those tools yourself with trial versions or free versions of it so that you can just be a little aware, a little cognizant. You don't have to be the expert. People are looking for people who are aware, somewhat literate, but do have a particular skill set in something. It doesn't mean push your skill set away in marketing, in finance, in accounting, in any of that stuff. No. But you're today. That's the difference it's going to be for the strategy. People who currently have jobs, you're in good shape. Why are you in good shape? You have people who are currently working as knowledge workers. You can't do nothing when they come through and said you gone, you done. It's nothing you can do. Let's be clear on that. But while you're there, you can do things like get the company to invest in you with training. You can learn other things while you're there that they're not requiring you to learn. See, a lot of things we can do. I'm just saying it has to be different. That's all I'm saying. It has to be different. Let me play this little clip right here where they're talking about, I think they're talking about knowledge working, or in this case, let me see, the future AI. Let's see what it says here.
Just Capital out with a survey measuring how Americans feel about AI. While corporate leaders and investors are positive, the public does remain skeptical. And joining us right now to break it all down is Just Capital CEO Martin Whitaker. Martin, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks, Becky.
Talk about who you surveyed for these results.
Yeah, so let me give a little context. So Just Capital, we decided this year to do basically a full restructuring around creating a data platform for business leaders to help them improve performance. All right, so AI is everywhere all at once. So we wanted to get a handle on how companies were thinking about AI deployment and what key stakeholders felt about that. So we've started a quarterly pulse survey of the public as proxies for workers and consumers, business leaders, and also investors. And we just released the first results of that.
And what you found is that business leaders are looking at AI pretty differently than the general public.
Well, I think there's areas of agreement and disagreement.
Okay.
I think what we found was overall a net positive story around AI's impact on society. You see a majority of the public actually think that it will have a positive effect.
But they're more worried than corporate
They're
leaders.
more worried than business leaders and investors for sure. I mean, the focus for business leaders is going to be around productivity initially. What I hear all the time is what's the ROI of the investments that we're making. Public's more concerned about consumer protections, deep fakes, misinformation, disinformation, protection for kids, things like that. So there's a whole sort of area around sort of consumer issues, but there's also a lot of agreement. And I would say the biggest area of agreement, I know you're showing some of the data now.
Showing some of the data, right.
Yeah, you're really seeing agreement around a need to invest in the American worker, upskilling, training, and Walmart, it's a big day for Walmart in the markets. No one's done a better job.
So I'll jump in real quick. He was just getting ready to talk about Walmart, how Walmart has invested in people, their employers, they're offering training, different things like that. The Gen Zers, right? If you're an OG like myself, we're going to figure out a way to take care of ourselves. That is just what it is. But the reason why I don't like to oversimplify that is because I know there's a lot of people between the age of 40 and 60 that got a home. They're married. They've committed to the career that they're currently in. And if they're knowledge workers, I know you don't see it. You don't even think it's true. You think can't nobody click submit like you. Trust me, I understand. I understand the psychology. Girl, they not going to let you go. Don't nobody open that folder like you. Man, they not going to let you go. Can't nobody turn on computers like you. I get all that. I hear it. Don't play yourself. Don't play yourself. Don't do that. Don't even do it. Don't stick your head in the sand. I talk to guys, my peers groups, right? And I have to hold back. I hold back. I talk conservatively to them about it. I hold back because I know everybody got to handle their business the way that they handle their business. They just got to. But you know, if you a knowledge worker, you know if you're getting paid for your thoughts. You know if you're getting paid for the system you're working on. AI is targeting your position, targeting your position. What I suggest that you strongly do is embrace it. Use it to augment. Ask your supervisor, your director, the CEO, your church, whoever it is, wherever you're doing it. Learn some of the tools. Listen, if you talk about, I'll be playing around with ChatGPT. I'm not talking about playing around with ChatGPT. Stop saying that. Telling somebody 18 months from now or a year from now when you're looking for a job that, I can use ChatGPT good. Here's what you're telling them. I don't know how to use AI. That's what you're telling them. If all you got to offer when you talk to somebody, when you're looking for an opportunity for employment, is you know how to use ChatGPT, so that makes you AI literate, you're essentially telling them you really ain't down with the program. Because everybody can use ChatGPT. That ain't what we talking about here at all. You say, well, that's a little obscure. It's too ambiguous. I can't put what you're saying. Be a little more tangible. I'll give you one. The organizations that I'm looking at, I'm going to be looking at their websites. I'm going to say, man, y'all got a great website. I like the way your images slide across. Are y'all using jQuery with that? Because, we got the AI tool out now. I use such and such, just playing around with it for my church or my friend or my brother. They're going to be like, yeah. Now, that's not me saying I want to be their web developer. If I'm applying want to do the technology, that's just letting them know I'm AI aware. I'm aware that there's some tools, and I'm interested enough to realize what tool that is or what technology that is that allows that image to come across the screen like that. If you're into any of that type of stuff, talking about APIs and MCPs and the way that applications that aren't connected can connect to each other, talking about OAuth and all of this stuff, I'm saying to you, you do what you do, but if you represent yourself as being cognizant and aware about what's going on now, and you seem excited and interested to learn, and you have been dabbling in, it's going to speak a lot more to you. It's going to speak a lot more to them. Because even though we can't control submitting resumes and talking to human beings, we also know that a large percentage of opportunities we get is through people. People recommend, people speak. You and I both know, everybody in this chat know, a large percentage is not through, I submitted a resume because a website said they was hiring. I submitted a resume because an organization said they was hiring. A lot of it has to do with who you meet, who you know, the energy that they get from you. But I'm going to tell you something that you might want to stop or think about not doing anymore. If you having these water fountain conversations with your coworkers, you having these slave ship ideas with your friends and talking about your job, forget AI. I don't mess around with that. So you see how I had that slave sound, that pancake mix, Aunt Jemima voice. I don't mess around with no AI. That right there, stop. It ain't gonna help you. They ain't not gonna tell you how crazy you sound at the water fountain. They're not gonna tell you how crazy you look on the elevator. But when your name come up to keep you or to invest in you, they're not gonna do it. No. If you good at what you do, find the AI tool that make you better at it. Get excited. It's here. It ain't going nowhere. It just ain't. Hang on for a second. It just ain't. Check this out. back to jobs.
Fox Business Alert, ChatGPT's user base is about to join the 3 comma club. According to OpenAI's inaugural State of Enterprise AI report, the chatbot platform now serves more than 800 million users per week. The company also surveyed over 9,000 workers across nearly 100 enterprises to find patterns of AI adoption. So here's what they found. OpenAI says that over the past year, weekly messages in ChatGPT Enterprise, that's for the business part of it, increased nearly 8-fold, with the average user sending 30% more messages. Overall, 75% of workers see AI improving the speed and quality of their work, and AI saving employees 40 to 60 minutes per day.
Listen to that. Listen to that. Listen to what she says. AI is saving employees 50 to 60 minutes per day. That's why I'm saying to you, if you currently have a job, you currently have a great opportunity. I'm not saying they're not going to shut you down. You can't control the decimal points. The bottom line is, if they can put the money on the back end and the AI can do what you can do, you out of there. It's just nothing. You can't get out the way of that bus. But until the bus run you over, okay, whatever you currently doing, learn some of the tools. You don't have to, the job don't have to give them to you for you to learn about them. Do some reading. Search the internet. You sit there and swipe TikTok for 3 hours. You sit there and swipe Facebook, Instagram. You sit there and swipe YouTube Shorts for 3 hours and ain't thought of a damn thing and ain't wrote nothing down. Take 30 minutes of that, ain't did nothing for 3 hours. And say, look, I'm in the accounting department. I wonder what type of AI tools out there that they're using in accounting. Go right on YouTube or somewhere and look it up. And you're gonna find it right there. If y'all use in y'all HR ADP, is it ADP or is it APT? Not the alarm company, the one for HR, whichever one that is, right? You go in there and look. Do the research. Say, is there any AI tools going on there? Or you could do this. What jobs does the ADP people at the company that do the HR stuff, what jobs are they noticing where the titles are either changing or the companies are purging? What did I just say? The titles are changing to the job, so they're not going to rehire under that position. Or all of a sudden, they just deprecate it. That position not even hiring no more. And if you do a search, it'll come up. I did a search. I watched a whole panel about AI and ADP. And the regional directors, the people over top of the ADP information coming across through the internet for all these enterprise level, medium to large companies, says they're noticing a lot of job titles being deprecated or changed. And that's because that company is going a different direction with their budget. We can't control that. It's nothing we could do. I'm talking about what can you do. Here's the other side. Look at what they just said. If you learn to use the tools, you're going to become more effective, more, geared up. You're going to be geeked. You're going to be like, man, my efficiency, my proficiency, I'm just off the chain. All of a sudden, your direct report going to be like, man, you got some new energy with you. Then some of y'all might be saying, well, they told us don't use it. No, it's going to be a balance in there because everybody got to use it. Everybody going to use it. You're either going to use it on the front end or the back end or both. They're going to push it up. So there's no getting around that. It just ain't. I feel bad. Let me tell you who I have more empathy for. I have more empathy for Gen Z. The Gen Zers, they in trouble. Them kids, them young adults,
so productive,
who are right now today between the ages of 13 years old and 28 years old, they in trouble. The unemployment rate for the country right now, the entire country, is 4.5%, 4.6%. The unemployment rate for 16 through 24 is over 10%. Over 10% of the age 16 through 24 unemployed. The unemployment rate for new college graduates coming out this last graduation class in 2025, is over 6%. They're not even getting callbacks. I'm talking about knowledge workers, not all workers. I'm talking about these developers, data scientists, information processors, people that are going into the fields, whatever the domains were, where pretty much they're using their minds and their fingers to get it through the keyboard or hit the machines and make it happen. They're not even getting callbacks. They in trouble. They facing something real. Now, here's what Elon Musk had to say about it. I like what he had to say about it. I know we're not fans of Elon Musk. I'm not crazy about him either. But check out what he had to say. Let me see.
Cars compelling and affordable. That was the goal.
Let's see. Hang on.
And how it's revolutionizing every time you use it is different.
We
Just
all
based
love
on
Grok.
the based computing. Some the benefit, of course, is
That?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're
And-
going to
and
ask
therefore
Elon
intelligent.
Musk.
So AI factories and robotics, and we heard it yesterday from His Royal Highness, his vision, how to augment our workforce with roughly tens of millions of robotics to be able to infuse the next wave of productivity and progress. But this scares a lot of folks here when it comes to the future of jobs. So let's hear about your thoughts, Elon and Jensen, on that.
Sure. Well, if you say like in the long term, where will things end up? Long term, I don't know what long term is. Maybe it's 10, 20 years, something like that. For me, that's long term. My prediction is that work will be optional.
Optional.
Optional. So,
We'll take that.
yeah. I mean, it'll be like playing sports or a video game or something like that. If you want to work, in the same way, like you can go to the store and just buy some vegetables, or you could grow vegetables in your backyard. It's much harder to grow vegetables in your backyard, but some people still do it because they like growing vegetables. That will be what work is like, optional. Now, between now and then, there's actually a lot of work to get to that point. And I always recommend people read Ian Banks' culture books to get a sense for what a probable positive AI future is like. And interestingly, in those books, money doesn't exist.
Did you hear that? Money no longer exists. Work is optional. Now, you say, well, we're far away from that. He tripping because we know he like ketamine and sometimes he takes too much. But listen to what he says about college, though. Did you know that he does not, Elon Musk has what's called a chairman of hiring, or I forget what they call it, but they don't require a college degree. Yeah, isn't that something? And you say, how could he not require a college degree? Well, I'll let him explain it. Let's let him explain it.
You don't need college to learn stuff, okay? Everything is available basically for free. You can learn anything you want for free. It is not a question of learning. There is a value that colleges have, which is like, seeing whether can somebody work hard at something, including a bunch of sort of annoying homework assignments, and still do their homework assignments and kind of soldier through and get it done. That's like the main value of college. And then also, if you probably want to hang around with a bunch of people your own age for a while instead of going right into the workforce. So I think colleges are basically for fun and to prove you can do your chores, but they're not for learning. But there is a requirement of evidence of exceptional ability. Like you just can't, if you're trying to do something exceptional, they must have evidence of exceptional ability.
Listen to what he says. Evidence of exceptional ability. Now, think about what that is. That's similar to what I was speaking about earlier. Now, evidence of exceptional ability to work at SpaceX might be in your math, your engineering skills, your critical thinking, different things like that. But evidence of exceptional ability is not stuck at one level. Evidence of exceptional ability is on any level, in any domain. In other words, that's where I was talking about or alluding to your energy. Look, I got friends, like grown-ass men, and they got kids. They got grown-ass kids, young adults. And we have conversations about what they go to college for, okay? Oh, one goes to college for this, another goes to college for this, another goes to college for this. And I meet them. They're in their third year, approaching their last year, about to graduate, get a bachelor's of science degree. I meet them. And they, this is their major. You know what I ask them, though? I say, show me something you did that wasn't required by the school. And they ask me, huh? I say, show me something you did that wasn't required by the school. And then I ask them about their classes after they tell me their GPA. And it sounds like they fucking lying. It sounds like they lying. You lying to somebody. I'm going to assume that it's me you lying to because you don't know me. Hopefully you've been telling your parents the truth because somebody is telling a damn lie around here. How you been in school that long and don't know shit? How you get that goddamn grade and can't even show something you did outside of school? Now, I'm saying that rhetorically and facetiously, but what I'm really speaking to is what Elon Musk just said. It's got to be evidence of exceptional ability. There's got to be evidence that that's what you on. That's all we really saying. Whatever domain you is, there's evidence that that's what you on. It ain't about it being perfect. It ain't about it being great. It ain't about it being the best. But there is a way to measure your effort. Well, nobody told me yes. No, we're not measuring your effort by who told you yes. That's an outcome. We're going to measure your effort by the yeses and the nos. Who told you no? Well, really nobody. Who told you yes? Really no. Right. See, you don't have effort. We don't have to measure your passion and your interest by the best work in your domain. What you reading in that area? Well, I really ain't into books. But ain't you ready to go to college? Or aren't you in college? Yeah. Do you read them books? I read them books. And and there's no other book outside of college that you into this, that you read. See, it's bullshit. See, a lot of it ain't going to have nothing to do with AI. It's going to have something to do with Elon Musk just talked about. There's got to be evidence of exceptional ability. That's it. It's got to be. In other words, if this is what you about, if I'm a dope fiend, there's got to be evidence that I'm a dope fiend. Well, there's no college degree on being a dope fiend, Todd. Oh, okay. There's no grant they're going to give you to certify you as a dope fiend, Todd. Oh, okay. What about my nose? What about my arms? What about the back of my neck? What about my collapsed veins? That's evidence. What about the bridges I burnt with my family? What about the police record? That's evidence of my exceptional ability of being a dope fiend. So all I'm saying to anybody 40 and over, we've lived enough where we know how to mitigate, how to augment, improve, make better. It's a paradigm shift. Now, if you're not worried about working, you're not worried about working. I'm mainly talking specifically to knowledge workers. You used to fix computers. Ain't nobody fixing computers no more. They replaced the whole thing. It's cheaper. Man, I used to change memory. Get off the slave shit. Stop. Listen to what I'm saying. Let me help a lot of y'all out. Stop telling these ancient 1 Corinthians, 5 books of Moses, off the Pentamarias. This world don't want to hear that shit. Dumb your fucking resume down. Stop putting down there you built the fucking earth and you don't know why nobody won't hire you. And dumb your resume down. When I go look for a job out there and I look for some work somewhere else, guess what my resume gonna say? My resume gonna say, I like working with Excel. I know something about Word. I can use Google Docs, stuff like that. That's it. So you might be thinking, oh, Taka, you want to work with Google Docs? You want to work in Excel? Nuh-uh. That's going to get me in. That's my strategy. That's going to get me in. And you know what's going to happen once I get in? Then I'm going to start working in there with SharePoint, Salesforce, Microsoft Fabric, Power BI. See, I come in on that low-hanging fruit because that's where the opportunity might be. So I come in there. But once I get in there, I'll release the yeast on their ass. But that's my strategy. Why? Because coming in the front door is too laborious. It's too protracted. It's not an easy knock no more. They done changed the locks. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys, I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I want to say thank you for stopping through. I'm just speaking to you guys with what applies to me. I'm just saying it ain't over with if you don't want it to be over with. Just change the game up some. But you still got to do the work. You still got to research the companies. You got to do the effort, but you might have to approach it differently. Just the approach might be different. And for younger people, them days where you so cute and entitled, because people been telling you how smart you are and how beautiful you are, where you can talk to adults and your head hanging down, that's over. That's over. Try that shit on a Zoom. Remember during COVID, everybody had rights at Amazon fulfillment centers? We want bigger restrooms. We want more pay. We want extra fans. We want real air conditioners. Remember, they was union. Remember all that? You know what they got in those Amazon fulfillment rooms now, centers? More robots than people. They got more robots than people. Yeah, that's what they got. Robots. Robot don't get sick. Robot gonna work an extra shift. Ain't no sexual harassment. Ain't no he looked at me this way. Ain't none of that shit. That's why you don't hear about the Amazon people no more. And the young adults that were coming home from school, taking on seasonal positions at these Amazon fulfillment centers, you got maybe 1 or 2 more years of doing that. You're not going to be able to get them jobs. They're not going to be there. AI is going to replace the menial tasks, menial, M-E-N-I-A-L, the mundane tasks, mundane, M-U-N-D-A-N-E, and the repetitive. I don't know how to spell repetitive. All right, guys, peace. I'm out. That's it. That's all I got. It's time for a Pop-Tart and some cereal. I got